Two presidents visited the border today, the Texas border, one current and one former. One visited Brownsville, the other one visited Eagle Pass. Both made speeches. Both had exceptionally different tones in their speeches.
Let's remember who the heck we work for. We work for the American people, not the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. We work for the American people. And let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. No, I mean this. Think about this. There's nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing when we work together.
But this is a Joe Biden invasion. This is a Biden invasion over the past 3 years. I call him Crooked Joe because he's crooked. He's a terrible president, the worst president our country's ever had, probably the most incompetent president we've ever had.
Only one of them made perhaps the most incredible political speech I've ever heard any politician make, and almost nobody noticed, but it's a very big deal. Okay, I'm going to share that incredible political moment with you. But first, let me give you a little bit of background behind this whole border situation.
And right into that Fox News alert, the text of the newest spending proposal from the Senate has finally been made public.
It's kind of hard to read like that, so let's take a look at some of the key border provisions. It mandates a shutdown if the daily average of encounters hits 5,000. It ends the Biden administration's use of catch and release and creates a new border emergency authority where the president can just shut her down.
All right. It's $118 billion in spending. It also includes $60 billion plus to support Ukraine, $14 billion for assistance to Israel.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says a vote could come as soon as 48 hours from now, but GOP lawmakers are arguing otherwise.
And the ongoing GOP dysfunction in the halls of Congress, today Senate Republicans blocked the bipartisan border security deal that they had originally insisted be packaged with aid for Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel. It's the same deal that Republicans were demanding until a few days ago. But as it turned out, Donald Trump did not want it because he wants to use the border issue against Joe Biden in the fall. And this, I suppose, dashed the bipartisan dreams that Biden spoke of longingly when campaigning for office.
Are we as Republicans going to have press conferences and complain the border's bad and then intentionally leave it open after the worst month in American history in December? Now we've got to actually determine, are we going to just complain about things, or are we going to actually address and change as many things as we can?
Were you offered a briefing?
No, I have not been. No, I've had individual senators call and give me tips and offered things that are going on in the room, but we've not been a part of that negotiation.
Bringing a bill that fails doesn't solve a problem. You know how you solve a problem? You do what Lankford is doing. You sit down with the other side and you negotiate. I appreciate what Senator Lankford's done. To those who push H.R. 2, it's not going to happen. So if it doesn't happen, you got to do something else.
So like everything else they're doing, it's all boomeranging because they don't have a plan for America. And the things that they used to talk about, like abortion, they can't talk about anymore because the public has completely repudiated them. So now they're down to immigration, and they won't take yes for an answer because Donald Trump wants to run on immigration as a problem, not as a solution. And of course, Vladimir Putin is in the background pulling the strings to make sure that the Republicans don't go along with aid to the heroic people of Ukraine resisting his aggression.
Okay, let's recap. Democrats want to pass a bill to help to fund Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel, etc. Republicans say we are not going to fund anything unless you come up with funding and a solution for border security. Democrats say okay. They start working together with Senator Lankford, and they come up with the biggest, best bill, border security bill that's come up with in decades, in a very long time. Conservative Republicans and pundits have all hailed this as really the best deal you're going to get from Democrats at any time. Donald Trump hears this and immediately says, oh no, don't do this, because then what am I going to run on? He leans on Republicans. They, of course, fold like a cheap suit, and the bill is dead. Republicans have basically said, my house is on fire. They've yelled, they're standing in the street screaming, our house is on fire. A fire truck comes along and they're ready to put out the fire. And Republicans are like, no, 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 no. Don't do anything. We just want to complain about the house being on fire. And we want to blame it on somebody. President Biden jumps off that fire truck and makes them an offer even they can't refuse.
The majority of Democrats and Republicans in both houses support this legislation until someone came along and said, don't do that, it'll benefit the incumbent. That's a hell of a way to do business in America for such a serious problem. We need to act. It's time for the speakers and some of my Republican friends in Congress who are blocking this bill to show a little spine. Pass a bipartisan, remember, bipartisan, conservative leaders supported this border security bill. Let's remember who we work for God's sake. We work for the American people. Let me end with this. I understand my predecessor's an Eagle Pass today. So here's what I would say to Mr. Trump. Instead of playing politics with this issue, instead of telling members of Congress to block this legislation, join me, or I'll join you in telling the Congress to pass this bipartisan border security bill. We can do it together. You know and I know. It's the toughest, most efficient, most effective border security bill this country has ever seen. So instead of playing politics with the issue, why don't we just get together and get it done? Let's remember who the heck we work for. We work for the American people, not the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. We work for the American people. And let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. No, I mean this. Think about this. There's nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing when we work together.
For a politician of any political party to make that kind of offer during an election year to share the glory with your opponent, he came straight out. He said, join me or I'll join with you. That's simply remarkable. That is not done nowadays. It's just not done. There were Republicans saying straight up, they said, why would I help President Biden score any points?
If you don't get some type of border security bill done here, you're done. You're done. Now, why would I help Joe Biden improve his dismal 33% when he can fix the border security on his own?
But President Biden is a different kind of politician. He's the guy who cares. He genuinely cares about the country. And now he's left the ball in the Republicans' court. Okay, now I've said my piece. This is where I stand. I want to help America. How about you? They would have to come out on the record and just, and say, no deal. No, I don't want, we'll wait. We'll wait as all of those things unfold that we've been complaining about. Donald Trump talks about migrant crime. He wants to fill Americans with fear and loathing and hatred.
Something's going on that's bad. Now the United States is being overrun by the Biden migrant crime. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. It's migrant crime. We call it Biden migrant crime, but that's a little bit long.
He's been stoking fears about this migrant crime wave. And look, our colleagues, Olympia Sonier and Garrett Hake, did an analysis of that and took a look and found that Trump's claims of a migrant crime wave aren't actually supported by national data. The NBC News review of available 2024 crime data shows that overall crime levels dropped in cities that have received the most migrants. But nonetheless, Chris, this is something that
President Biden is just trying to reach across the aisle to solve some problems. It's going to be up to America to decide at the end of the day in November. Do you want to elect somebody who is willing to sit by and willfully watch as things get worse just so they can get the credit for it? Or do you want to elect somebody who's willing to share the credit, share the glory, and provide solutions for all Americans, not just their own party? Your move, Donald Trump. This is Brooklyn Dad for Really American. Peace. And make sure you like and subscribe to the Really American channel, where we're always speaking truth to power and bringing you new content daily to keep you informed during this critical election year and beyond.